Well, truly every day is a great day to be a patriot, as you know, but today is especially good, not only because you get short classes and a pep rally later today, but because we're here to honor some very, very special patriots. So the people you're going to hear about and from today are the most distinguished alumni. These are folks who have gone on after their years here at Carroll and done extraordinary work in whatever field they chose, whether it be science or business or education or the priesthood in the case of Father Jim. They have gone and touched a lot of lives in very, very positive ways. So I think it's important that we come together and we hear about them so that as you sit there and think about what am I going to do when I leave these hallowed halls, this can hopefully inspire you just a little bit. So Mrs. Kilby is going to take us through this assembly today. But before she does, I'm going to start us off with prayer. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Strong and faithful God, we thank you for the gift of this Carroll community and the people, both present and former patriots, who make it strong. Bless our time here today. May the words we hear inspire each of us to live your call for us to be the very best that we can be for our families, our communities, and the world at large. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
So good morning, Patriots. What a great Spirit Week it's been. You guys have been awesome. So much participation. Great job. Just such a blessing to be at Carroll High School every day. It's really, truly, to me, the best place to be. Each person in this building plays a vital part in making Carroll great. Today we're here to honor the 7 newest members to be inducted into the Carroll High School Distinguished Hall of Fame. I'd like to share with you a little bit about the Hall of Fame itself, and then I will introduce you to the amazing group, and they will get a chance to share a message with you. Thank you in advance for being a great audience and listening with care to them. In May of 2006, the Carroll High School Alumni Association established a Distinguished Hall of Fame. This was a prominent honor based on post-high school achievement. It was designated for graduates who are at least 15 years out of school. That means for you seniors, 2039, you could be eligible. There are 2 categories for consideration: Alumni Distinguished Patriot and Honorary Patriot. The Alumni Distinguished Patriot Award honors graduates of Carroll High School who have made significant impact on their communities and professions in one or more of the following areas: academic excellence, career achievement, Christian leadership, dedicated service, philanthropy, heroism, humanitarianism, cultural achievement. The Honorary Patriot Award honors those who are not graduates, but who have had long and lasting profound effect on Carroll High School through their commitment to Catholic education and their active involvement, leadership, and support of the school. A plaque for each member of the Distinguished Hall of Fame hangs in the junior hallway above the lockers right outside of room 110 and 111. If you've never had a chance to read those names or see those faces, I challenge you over the course of the next week or so to familiarize yourself with those special people who are excellent role models. And remember, you may be among that group someday. 2 years ago, the entry of the gym was remodeled, and there's now a kiosk which contains the biographies of each of the honorees, as well as those who are members of the Athletic Hall of Fame for Carroll. Anyone interested in learning more about any of the distinguished alumni or the Athletic Hall of Fame can access the information easily from the kiosk. The first class of the Distinguished Hall of Fame was inducted in 2008, the second and third in 2009 and 10. We took a year off for Carroll's 50th anniversary celebration, and the 4th class was inducted in 2012. Since then, we've rotated every other year with the Athletic Hall of Fame, with 1 year getting pushed back because of COVID. The next class for Distinguished Hall of Fame will be 2025. I would like to recognize the members of the Awards and Recognition Committee for the Hall of Fame. This group set in motion all the necessary preparations to have this event. The people on the committee are tireless workers, dedicated, fair, and reasonable, and have a great love for Carroll. Please stand when I call your name and remain standing until all names are called. Gwen Fox Stump, class of 99. She is our committee chairperson and outstanding in that capacity. Jeannie Hyde McManus, class of 66. Sharon Schneider Becker, class of 69. Kathy Kuntz Heeb, class of 70. Bev Cassell Rose, class of 70. Dr. Greg Notstein, class of 71. Kathy Woobin Jackson, class of 75. Patty Hatton Berman, class of 80. Mark Job, class of 83. Kim Tim, class of 86. Amy Sobleski Whitman, class of 88. Mark McNulty, class of 94. Julie Whites, class of 94, and also Director of Alumni and Community Relations for Carroll. And then myself. And I didn't graduate from Carroll, but I've been around for about 30 years. Let's give everybody a round of applause. As we introduce each of the honorees today, you will see that they are accompanied by a student ambassador from each house. Not only are they being inducted into the Distinguished Hall of Fame, but they are becoming honorary members of a house. Our first honoree is being escorted by his 3 granddaughters, Nora Sobleski, senior captain in Trinity, Meg Whitman, sophomore council member from Gonzaga, and Colleen Sobleski, freshman in Trinity House, Mr. Tom Sobleski. Mr. Sobleski was a member of Carroll's faculty for 41 years. I'm just a baby in comparison. Tom taught it all and did it all at Carroll. His teaching credentials include English, public speaking, theater, and film classes. In addition to his work in the classroom, he served as the audiovisual coordinator, director of the early version of Media for Carroll, coach for golf and assistant football coach and class advisor. He even drove the school bus. He also was involved in the drama department, served as yearbook advisor for 30 years, published a sports program for 25 years, and announced men's basketball home games. He certainly fired up the Patriots in the classroom, in the stands, and on the court. He also served as adjunct professor at Sinclair for communications and public speaking for 35 years, including teaching classes to inmates at Dayton Correctional Institute. Additionally, he served on various committees and as a substitute newscaster for Mix 107.7. He's a true family man, married to his wife Patty for 54 years, and is the father of 2 wonderful children. You might know at least one of them, Matt Sobleski with his wife Mary Kate, and Amy with her husband Joe. Tom also enjoys his time with his 8 grandchildren. He is truly honored to be inducted into the Hall of Fame and hopes he is remembered for his stern but jolly demeanor, but mostly for his pride in being a patriot. Please welcome Mr. Tom Sobleski.
Thank you very much, Jill, for your more formal name. Also, I want to wish good luck to the football team tonight. I'm sure the soccer teams are involved in some competitions this weekend, so good luck to you. I'm pretty sure that the cross-country team has meet this weekend, so good luck to you, and good luck to all the Patriots competing this weekend. I'd like to give a special shout out to Mrs. Julie Whites and all the members of the committee who saw fit to put me among this year's inductees. I am truly humbled and honored to be included in this presence of my fellow inductees here today and all of the inductees in the past. I taught public speaking at Sinclair College for over 30 years, English and communication classes here for 41 years. I love being a part of this community. When I was here, I loved being here, and I still feel very much a part of this community, even though I'm retired. I fondly remember the many faculty and staff members, the administrators, the parents, and of course the students with whom I interacted in the classroom, on the yearbook staff, working on the sports program book, and doing public address announcing at the men's home basketball games. Yes, there were some stinkers, but mostly I have a warm feeling for the many people that I worked with, had fun with, and became friends with during my career. Steve Bognar was a student in my filmmaking and appreciation class. He graduated in the 80s. As a matter of fact, I remember how moved he was at the assassination of John Lennon in 1980. He really identified with John Lennon, and he really took his assassination hard. But anyway, he and his colleague, Julia Reichert, made several award-winning documentary films. A Lion in the House was about children with cancer. The Last Truck was about the closing of a factory here in Moraine. And what a thrill it was for me a few years ago for me to be watching the Academy Awards show and see on national television my former student, John Bognar, walk to the stage and receive the Academy Award for Best Documentary of an American Factory. Cheryl McHenry, who you see on Channel 7 and who will MC the banquet tomorrow evening, was in my TV broadcasting class. She had an interest in broadcasting as a senior here, and I remember telling her that she had a good voice. After Carol, she went to Xavier University, received her degree, worked for a radio station in Cincinnati, and then came to Channel 7. And as they say, the rest is history. In 2010, a student who graduated in 2010, there was a young man who took every class I taught because we got along so well. But he didn't get involved in any extracurricular activities, nothing. In the yearbook for him, there's nothing under his name. But he wanted to work. He wanted to work at Dot's grocery store in Belmont. Today, Nick Mosshaus owns that grocery store and the Dots in Bellbrook and the Dots in the Cross Point Shopping Center. And then there was a kid who graduated in 1991. Nice kid. Had a very strong character. He liked to run. In fact, he received the Patriot Award both in cross country and track in his senior year. And he ran 2 marathons. He loved Carroll High School, still does. And he studied education in college, got a master's degree in administration, and now that kid, my son, is your principal. These and all my students throughout the years were just like you. And my 3 granddaughters, who are sitting here in front today, senior Nora Sobleski, sophomore Meg Whitman, and freshman Colleen Whitman. This may embarrass them, but that's what grandpas do. I tell you about these students because then, as now, there is greatness at Carroll High School. There is greatness in its students. There was greatness here when those former students that I told you about were here. There was greatness here when my fellow inductees were here. There was greatness here when I was here. And there was greatness in this room right now. There was greatness in Carroll High School, and there was greatness in you. I know that every day is not sweetness and roses, but I hope that I'm not being too naive when I think that most of you like being here. I feel it when I walk through the front door. friendship, warmth, kindness, a sense of community. There is greatness here. There is greatness in each one of you. I love Carroll High School. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Sobleski. And yes, I know I use the formal name, Mr. Sobleski, because I still can't call you Tom, but I'm working on it. Our next inductee is being welcomed into Charity House by Neil Tavakaran, Mr. James C. Evans, PhD, class of 1966. Let's hear it, Charity House. Where are you? Dr. Evans holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical Engineering from Purdue University and a PhD in Physics from the University of Washington. His research interests center on the history of astronomy, especially in the ancient Greek period, and the history of physics from the 18th century onward. He has published several books and was honored as Washington State's Professor of the Year in 2008 by the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching and the Council for the Advancement of Supportive Education. In 2014, Jim and his co-authors' research was featured in the New York Times. His research shed new light on the clock-like astronomical mechanism known as the Antikythera mechanism. He'll correct me, he'll fix it, which has intrigued scientists for more than 100 years. This research was published in the Archive for History and Exact Sciences. Jim recently retired as a professor of physics and director of science at the University of Puget Sound, but continues to research and write. He is currently editor of the Journal for the History of Astronomy. His wife Sharon is also a graduate of Carroll, 65, and his daughter is a professor of English at Wayne State University. Jim looks back fondly with much appreciation to his high school education, especially the things he learned in English, math, and biology, although maybe not at the time Latin, sorry, Miss Barlow, but that has served him well all of these years. Please welcome to the stage Dr. James C. Evans.
Well, thanks for having me back. It's really a blast. Some things seem completely different, others are just the same. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Antikythera mechanism. So in the year 1900, some sponge divers found the wreck of an ancient Greek sailing ship. It had wrecked around 80 BC or so it had been underwater for 2,000 years. A lot of statues pulled up from the bottom, but also an odd sort of chunk of encrusted metal and wood. It dried out in the museum in Athens for a few months, and it split open, and inside there were gears and inscriptions in Greek. Over the last 100 years, scholars have worked on it quite a bit, and there was a whole wave of new activity starting around 20 years ago. It turns out it was a kind of astronomical calculating machine, a universe in a shoebox. It had 70 gears or so. We only have about half of it surviving. And the user would have turned a crank, and gears would have gone around displaying the motions of the planets, the sun and the moon, around the zodiac. It told time in two different kinds of calendar. It could be used to predict eclipses. So you never know what might come in handy in your education. As we just heard, I have fond memories of literature classes I took from Sister Eugene. And in mathematics, Sister Giovanni was just so brilliant. And my biology classes from Sister Agnes, those are things that I really got a lot from. So in tackling the history of ancient science, you need a lot of this stuff. Ancient languages, understanding of astronomy, some mathematics. I worked with a scholar from Argentina named Christian Carmon, and one of the tasks we set ourselves was to try to crack the time for the beginning of the instrument. On the back, there was a dial that predicted eclipses based on an eclipse cycle called the Saros, which was discovered by the ancient Babylonians. It's a cycle that runs for 18 years and predicts 36 eclipses. And the inscriptions on the back gave the times of day at which these were supposed to occur. So Christian and I were able to apply some information about the Babylonian eclipse cycles that had been published by John Steele, do some math, and pulling our hair out. It took months and months and months, but we finally managed to find the starting date for the mechanism. It turned out to be about 205 BC. That's the sort of thing that you never know might, you never know what kinds of tools you might need when you start out for a problem like that. When I look back, the one mistake I think I made in high school was I never really liked my Latin classes enough and never got quite enough out of them. It would have done me a lot of good to have paid more attention to it back then, because I had to learn it later a little bit more seriously. So I'd like to stop now and be happy to talk with people afterwards if we get a chance. Thanks again for having me back. I think my 4 years here did me a lot of good.
Our next inductee is now an honorary member of Gonzaga House with Julia Dunlap as their ambassador. Amy Zimmerman, class of 1993. Amy holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical Engineering from University of Cincinnati. She has held various Fortune 500 leadership positions and is currently the Global Program Manager for Rockwell Automation, part of the Procter & Gamble account. She has successfully utilized skills in management, leadership, relationship building, and next generational approaches to business. She received the 40 Under 40 Award from the Cincinnati Business Courier in 2009. Her deepest passion is her commitment to activism and participation in Kiwanis International at the local, state, and international levels. Her dedication to youth has profoundly impacted her desire to serve the Kiwanis community and has motivated her to pay it forward so that young people may enjoy similar opportunities through service leadership programs like Key Club and Circle K International. Amy was one of the youngest people to serve as the Ohio Kiwanis District Governor and has served on international committees for Kiwanis. She has been named the Kiwanis Children's Fund President. She is a dedicated volunteer and has received the Kiwanis International Centennial Award, as well as serving on the National Speaker Board of UNICEF. Amy looks back with fondness at her time at Carroll, especially traveling to Europe, which has inspired her to travel and help people all over the world, and her involvement with Key Club. Her studies in the science department at Carroll encouraged her to pursue engineering, and she participated in volleyball, track and field, and basketball. She was the Patriot of the Year and also the winner of the Religion Award at graduation, which are two of her greatest honors at Carroll. She treasures her prayer life and spending time with her nieces and nephews. Please welcome Amy Zimmerman.
It's a great day to be a patriot. What if I told you that whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right? This is so powerful that I'm going to repeat it. If you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you're right. I want you to put on your I can attitude right now. Repeat after me. I can do anything I set my mind to. I think we could do a little better, Patriots, if I were at Alter or CJ. Let's try that again. Repeat after me. I can do anything I set my mind to. Wow, that was very powerful. There's been so many times when I have accomplished way more than I ever thought possible when I believed I could do something. My mom would always be telling me to do something, tell me I could do something, and then would be there rooting for me. And my dad would always tell me, you can have anything you want, Amy. You just can't have everything. And to me, this means that to go after the things I want, to be thoughtful and strategic, and to have laser focus on imagining what you can do. And then have ruthless perseverance at achieving it. The goal can be crazy big, creative, something that you have never done before. It can't be too broad that you can't remember what you're setting out to do, though. I remember leaving Carroll with ambitious goals for college, to join the track team, to live and work in a foreign country, and to hold advanced leadership positions in the service organization, in addition to earning a degree in electrical engineering. Little did I know that there was not a women's track team at the University of Cincinnati. I was fortunate to read an article in the campus newspaper and to walk onto the men's team, training 3 hours every day with the men. I lettered my senior year when there finally was a women's team. In addition to achieving my goal, I am now friends with an Olympic gold medalist, Mary Weinberg, who won the 4x4 in Beijing. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have worked in Germany for 6 months during college. They were not sure what to do with me. Some shared that they had never met a female engineer. I didn't really think about breaking barriers. I thought about what I was called to achieve. Some of my best memories of being at Carroll High School were trying to buy a pass for the pool on the fourth floor. Have any of you been swimming in it? Yes? Excellent. Maybe you can help me out later tonight. Football games, letter jackets, homecoming, chicken sandwiches with mashed potatoes and gravy, gray uniform skirts, which I just found out this week that we were the last class to ever wear this beautiful polyester skirt. And some people did, yes, try to damage them so much by putting an iron on them. Somehow the office always had extras. The color neon, X-Files, reading Gone with the Wind, running track with Principal Sobleski, bus rides with Mr. Tomachek, who you'll hear from, and classes with Mr. Sobleski and Write On, having my poems published. Did you know that Carroll teachers have connections all over the community? This might be hard to imagine, that these teachers actually have life outside of school. In fact, they helped me to get my first job as a high school apprentice at Wright-Patt Air Force Base, which experience from that helped me to get further jobs. I understand this program is still in existence today, so if you're interested in STEM, you might want to check with Mrs. Wright. My brother and I were both fortunate to be able to take school trips to Europe while in high school, 5 days, 10 countries. Highlights included celebrating Easter Mass in the Westminster Abbey Cathedral in London, an experience that opened my eyes to the rich tapestries of cultures around the world, and it fueled a desire to travel. I've walked on the Great Wall of China, skied in the Alps, watched the Tour de France in Paris, a soccer match in England, and I have jumped out of a perfectly good airplane. Global travel is something I have in my job and in volunteering. And volunteering with Key Club, a high school service leadership organization, and not a club that makes keys, was definitely a highlight for me. Key Club helped me to discover my leadership skills, building enduring friendships, and engaging in meaningful service work, skills that I use in life every day. I'm proud to say that I've been part of a global service initiative that improved the IQ of the children of the world by providing iodized salt, and a second initiative that eliminated maternal and neonatal tetanus in 28 countries. And on October 1st, yes, 2 days from now, I will be serving as the president of the Kiwanis International Foundation, the Kiwanis Children's Fund, all from a start here at Carroll in a little club that doesn't make keys. Now, I do have a little challenge for you, or should I say I have a pie-in-the-sky goal to leave you with something so good that it will help you to leave your own legacy on the world. Back in my day, we had 110 students doing community service in Carroll's Key Club. Campus ministry has set up an information meeting next Tuesday from 3 to 4 in the cafeteria if you also want to be a part of improving the world we live in. I challenge you to join the Key Club and to create bigger, more impactful service club projects than we had 30 years ago, and I still claim to be 29. It is such a pie-in-the-sky goal that I will throw in a pizza party if you have more members than we had when I was here. In closing, I hope that you will have incredible adventures, make lasting memories, and experience all that the world has to offer. I hope that you will follow the calling that God has for you each and every day. I hope that you are wildly successful in every aspect of your life, And I hope you follow your passion so that someday we will be recognizing you here on this stage. So once again, repeat after me. I can do anything I set my mind to. Thank you.
And Amy, you'll be happy to know we are still taking students traveling at Carroll. Our next honoree is being welcomed to Baltimore House by Lila Grayley, Mr. Robert S. Fisher Jr., class of 75. Let's hear it, Baltimore. Bob received his AA degree from Sinclair Community College, his BA from Kenyon College, and his MBA from Harvard Business School. It's a pretty good school, you might have heard of it. Bob's wife Leslie, 2 brothers, 1 sister, and numerous nieces and nephews graduated from Carroll. While at Carroll, Bob established a business that manufactured concrete slabs for the HVAC industry. While at Carroll, he established a business. After several years of successful operation, he sold the company to pursue his college education. As an entrepreneur and senior business executive, Bob managed manufacturing businesses worldwide, including a global high-tech business with over 2,000 employees in Asia, Europe, and North America. His career spanned a wide variety of technology-oriented industries, including factory automation, electric sensors, power distribution, automotive robotics, precision measurement equipment, and networking switches and routers. The business he managed won numerous awards, including the Shingo Prize for Excellence in Manufacturing, Cisco System Supplier of the Year, and Jabil All-Stars. Bob retired from business at 45 to pursue humanitarian efforts, focused primarily on helping young people make informed education and career decisions. As managing director of the National Education Empowerment Foundation, he conducted career and education planning sessions for thousands of students, parents, teachers, and guidance counselors. He also published a non-commercial website with hundreds of best free career education planning resources, and worked as business professor at the University of South Florida, teaching marketing management and career empowerment courses, which he developed. He has also written numerous articles, presented at district and state conferences, and participated in TV and radio interviews. Bob fondly remembers his years at Carroll, meeting his wife of 43 years, Carroll athletic competitions, sock hops, running the torch at the football game. He also performed in plays and remains dedicated to his alma mater. Please welcome Bob Fisher.
Good morning, Carroll Patriots. Good morning. It's great to be back. I have so many fond memories of my time at Carroll. Loved the basketball games, football games, running torch. Sock hops were a blast. Also, and you probably won't appreciate this until much later, the classmates that you have today, many of them will become lifelong friends. The great thing about Carroll is you can get a fantastic education, grow spiritually, but still have a blast. Sometimes I probably had a little too much fun, and I probably ought to apologize to Mr. Sobolewski for that. But this morning, I'd like to share a couple of lessons that I learned. I started a concrete slab business when I was here at Carroll. And I was also involved in junior achievement with Sister Ursula's class. Do they still have junior achievement here? No? Okay, let me explain what junior achievement is. In junior achievement, they usually combine it with another class. You learn the basics of business. You learn a little bit about sales, a little bit about accounting, a little bit about production. You assign responsibilities to individual students. You build a product, and you sell the product, and hopefully at the end of the day you make a profit. Well, I found the knowledge that I gained from my experience here at Carroll in the junior achievement class in terms of teamwork, accounting, and sales proved very helpful with my concrete slab business, where I sold slabs to supply companies and air conditioning companies in the Dayton area. The second thing I'd like to talk about is I feel really blessed to have been a student here at Carroll where learning and Christian values are so important. When I was working during my business career, I volunteered as a junior achievement advisor. And what that involves is going into classrooms and being a guide and teaching junior achievement to the students. I taught in a variety of schools, but one of the schools I taught in was an inner city school in Cleveland, Ohio. And I was so frustrated because I spent over half the time each class period begging students not to be disruptive so that students that wanted to learn had the ability to do so. I actually talked to the teacher and I said, can we move the disruptive students out of this classroom so that the students that want to learn can? He said, we're not allowed to do that. I said, can I move the students that want to learn to another classroom? He said, no, we're not allowed to do that either. So I know sometimes the discipline, structure, all that may feel a little bit overwhelming, but you're truly blessed to be in an environment where you can get an outstanding education, grow your Christian values, and I'm very thankful for all of you that you are in that situation. Another lesson that I learned, it was kind of a painful lesson, was if you want to be successful, you have to go way above and beyond. You can't just do what's required. And I actually learned that lesson in my electricity class with Mr. Steinmetz. So I started working with my father when I was 12 years old and was pretty familiar with electrical wiring, electrical circuits. So when we had in-class projects, I'd finish the project in like half the time. And I got 100% on every quiz. So when report cards came out, and I got a B, I'm like, there must be a mistake. I went in and I spoke with Mr. Steinmetz. I said, how could I get a B? He said, Bob, I know you got 100 on all your quizzes. I know you finished all the class projects in half the time. But I can't give a student an A that's not working to their potential. Instead of screwing around the last half of the class, which you did, you should have worked on learning higher levels of electronic circuitry and electronic wiring. And when I left that meeting, I can tell you I wasn't real happy. It didn't make me feel good. But I did learn from that. And he was absolutely right. Don't do just what's required. If you want to be successful, you've got to go above and beyond. And I know all of you will. The last lesson that I'd like to share with you, when I was a senior, the beginning of my senior year, I had no plans. I had no plans to go to college. Fortunately, because I started my concrete slab business, I was very enthusiastic about business and pursued that direction. But you don't want to count on luck to determine what your future in your life is going to be like. So I'd like to see a show of hands. How many of you think that you might consider pursuing a 4-year degree after Carroll? If you could raise your hand. Okay, the second question. How many of you think that your parents would be really happy if it took you 6 years to get that 4-year degree? That's what I thought. Nationwide, only about 50% of the students that go off to college get a 4-year degree within 6 years. You know why? When they graduate from high school, they're pretty clueless. Most of them haven't done any research. They switch majors 3 times. They try this, don't like that, they try something else. I taught students that were seniors in a 4-year business program. Every semester, at the end of the semester, I'd have at least 1 or 2 of them in tears coming up and talking to me and saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm months away from graduation. I don't know what I'm going to do. I said, okay, what internships have you had? No internships. Co-ops? No co-ops. Job shadowing? No job shadowing. Well, you're a marketing major, right? Well, yeah, but I'm not sure if that's really what I want to do. Don't find yourself in that position. Use the resources here at Carroll. I didn't. Okay, but they have great career resources. They go above and beyond in terms of trying to give you opportunities to talk to people in various fields. Make sure you take advantage of that. Make an informed choice. 2 excellent online resources They're absolutely free. ONET, Career One Stop. ONET, Career One Stop. Okay, excellent resources. You can get all the information you need or want on any 1,000 different careers. I'd like to close with a wish for all of you. I hope that years after you graduate from Carroll, you have as many fond memories as I've had. Thank you.
Mercy House is the new home of our next inductee, being welcomed warmly by John Kalis and Andrew Burdick, Reverend James J. Manning, class of '66. Let's hear it, Mercy House. But I'm going to say a couple nice things about you first. He's getting ready. Ordained a Roman Catholic priest in 1975, Father Jim also holds a master's degrees from the Athenaeum of Ohio and Xavier University. For the past 48 years, he has served at LaSalle High School, St. Bernard Parish, St. Aloysius Parish, St. James Parish, St. Henry Parish, St. Albert the Great Parish, Archbishop Alter High School, St. Mary of the Assumption Parish, and St. Augustine Parish. He is a visionary leader as the first president of Archbishop Alter High School, where he formed the Board of Limited Jurisdiction and helped bring about major capital campaign renovations. He was also instrumental in the vision and strategic planning process that resulted in the relocation of the St. Mary Parish from Franklin to Springboro, the building of the new church, and the regionalization of the St. Mary of the Assumption Parish with St. Augustine in Waynesville. He is presently the parochial vicar at the family of parishes, St. Mary of the Assumption, St. Henry, and Our Lady of Good Hope, committed to seeing the strategic planning process of engagement, growth, and debt reduction to its completion. He has never forgotten Carroll and the roots he made here, the impact that Father Nye Heisel, one of the principals at Carroll, on his entry into the seminary. 48 years as a priest and going strong. Please welcome Reverend James J. Manning.
It is good to be back here at Carroll High School, and when you mentioned altar, I expected more booze out there in the congregation. I compliment you. I thought there would be some booze in that. And very, very happy to be part of the Mercy House. Without a mercy in my priesthood in my life, I probably wouldn't be standing here right now. I received a lot of mercy, and I thank you for being a part of the Mercy House. Upon graduation here in 1966, I left home at the age of 18 to go to the seminary. And I must confess to you, I found that a very intimidating experience to leave home at the age of 18 to go to the Athenaeum there in Cincinnati. So I went to guidance. Father Nieheisel actually was in guidance at that point. And his advice to me is go to seminary. You'll know in a minute it's for you. If it's not for you, go to Wright State. I live in Beaver Creek. Wright State was a brand new school being built. He said, go to seminary. You will know in a minute if it's for you. If not, leave and go to Wright State in your backyard. And so I kind of laughed at him that I would know in a minute. And here we are 49 years later. But when he said that, I go, well, I guess I'll be at Wright State by Christmas. So I show up for the opening talk there at the seminary. We had 160 young men in that class entering the seminary in 1966. And Monsignor Krumholz was the rector. And I didn't find his opening talk very much full of hope. He reminded the seminary has a 90% attrition rate. 90% of the people do not make it. Only 10% of people make it to the seminary to the day of ordination. And I found that, wow, that was not very full of hope. That was very intimidating. He basically said 90% of you are not going to make it. And I go, well, I'll probably be at Wright State by Christmas again, thinking that. But the most intimidating thing was really being surrounded by some young men at St. X High School, Elder High School, LaSalle High School, Moeller High School, Roger Bacon, and Purcell. And I go, oh, these are big boys. These are the big boy schools. And nobody knew about Carroll High School in the mid-'60s. I go, I'm not going to make it. I'll be at Wright State. by Christmas, they're going to be academically way ahead of me. And guess what? I was dead wrong. I was ahead of all of them because I went to Carroll High School. Carroll academically prepared me for that, and I was ahead of all those guys. And let me give you an example of that. When I was here, I had 4 years of Latin. Jim, I know you struggle with Latin, but I had 4 years. Sister Ann Michael, remember Sister Ann Michael? She prepared for me, and I loved Latin. And had 4 more years in college. I had 8 years of Latin. But I found out that she prepared me so well. It's an example of how Carol academically prepared me for the seminary. And I not only was not behind, I did well. I was ahead of many of them. I was ahead of them in Latin. And a lot of the guys who left because they couldn't cut Latin. In fact, rather than lose you in the seminary at that time, they had a 1-year course called Special Latin. Rather than leave the seminary, we'll give you a special year. You just do Latin, then you can come back. But it cost a year. And guess what? Many guys chose not to take that extra year of Latin. Okay? And they left the seminary. And so I want to compliment Carroll High School because I was intimidated by going to the seminary, thinking I was way behind. I was not only way behind, I was way ahead. And I thank Carroll High School for that. But I want to thank Carroll High School not just for academics. I want to thank it for its spirituality. Because my 4 years here, I was able to discern my God-given vocation, my God-given call in life to be a priest. Yes, I was intimidated. My high school said, "You'll know in a minute if it's you." I laughed at that. I thought it'd be right state. But I did endure 9 years at the seminary. And I'm on my 49th year of the priesthood right now. So I was meant to be a priest. And I thank Carroll High School for that. I thank Carroll not only for its academics, I thank Carroll High School for its spirituality, providing an environment where I could discern my God-given call in life. And one of my goals in life, as you have been benefited by Catholic education, I had a need to give back to Catholic education in various schools, be it LaSalle, be it Alter, be it St. Albert the Great for 15 years. And yes, we're known for our academics, and we should be proud of that and never forget that. But I pray that we never forget our mission is Catholic education, and that is spirituality. And as Carol primarily helped me discern my God-given vocation and my call in life, that's my prayer for all of you today. That Carroll High School provide an environment where you can discern your God-given vocation, your God-given call in life. Because nothing will bring you more happiness, nothing will bring you more peace in life than knowing the purpose that God put you here. Thank you very much.
We know you always bled red, white, and blue, regardless of where you were from here. We know. Our next inductee, also from the class of 1966, is Ron Riegelsberger. I'm not going to say it wrong. Riegelsberger. I knew I was going to say that one wrong. Who is being represented by his son, Brad Riegelsberger, class of 89, as Ron passed away in 2012. Hosting the Riegelsberger are Bailey Bolton and Sophia Bruin of St. Mary's House. Ron earned his Bachelor of Science degree from Wright State University and completed postgraduate studies at Xavier University. He was employed by the Montgomery County Juvenile Court for 32 years, where he began as a traditional probation officer. Realizing there was so much more he could do for at-risk youth, he teamed with Mike Pratt, who had created a new program called Building Bridges, and began a lifelong journey of serving at-risk youth in a personal and transcendent way. Ron, with the support of Building Bridges, placed youth in helping situations, allowing them the opportunity to realize their value while contributing to their communities. Ron became the director of that program and encouraged his staff to engage with the youth and their families in meaningful ways that left the youth with a mentor for life. His motto, WW, whatever works, was how he lived out his mission. He and his staff spent all hours, weekdays, weekends, going the extra mile to ensure their youth felt supported and cared for by loving adults. He worked with many service clubs to recruit volunteers as well as secure financial support for the Building Bridges program. Ron received the Brother Raymond L. Fitz Award from the Montgomery County Office of Family and Children First. He truly dedicated his life to making the world a better place. as his clients attributed their positive outcomes solely to Ron's commitment to their success. Ron passed in March of 2012 and is survived by his wife Karen and his children Brad, Mandy, and Kurt, all Carroll graduates, their spouses Melanie, Scott, and Kayla, and grandchildren Grant, Megan, Tommy, Augie. Please welcome Brad Regensberger speaking to you on behalf of his father.
Good morning, Patriots. First of all, I would like to say that I have been an expert at avoiding public speaking for almost 35 years. And that person that made me speak in front of Carroll students last is sitting up here right now. Thank you, Mr. Sobleski, for that. You, Mr. Sobleski, have done to me what my father became well known for doing to everyone around him. My father made a name for himself as a probation officer and an innovative leader in a program called Building Bridges that would not take no for an answer. But he was savvy enough to make that happen in a way that left you saying, what just happened? One of my favorite stories that I've heard over and over again, my wife has told me. She met him as she was a probation officer, and this was before I knew her. He was moving about in the juvenile probation office recruiting help for a biathlon, which included having staff and kids and volunteers run and walk together. And he approached my wife, Mel, wasn't my wife at the time, and told her that he was excited to see her at the biathlon on Saturday morning so that she could help staff the event. Melanie was a brand new mother. She had a young child, and she didn't have any way to have that child watched the next morning. And she was like, no. And he goes, yeah. He said, no problem. I'll see you at 7:30 and we'll have a stroller for you. And they just left her. That was how it went. And that's how he did. So Mel found herself 7:30 in the morning out on a street corner. My father met her there with the stroller, took her child and gave her to another staff, and they ended up pushing that stroller around as my wife stood on a corner making sure people went the right way. He did that stuff all the time. That's kind of what he did to people. Like he inspired them to do things that they were not expecting to do. So, over the years, and I'm sorry. I apologize. I told you I'm not a good public speaker. But he did that to adults for his entire years, and he did that with children as well. So he let them know that they could not fail. Like he was, as she said, a person who helped the children know and helped the kids at risk know that they were cared about. He was a very proud alum. He was willing to go to any lengths to serve children and people that he came in contact with. My father attributed Carroll High School with offering him the opportunity to aspire to a better life after a bit of a challenging childhood that left him in need of a little bit more guidance. He was an avid participant in all things sports related here and spoke warmly about how much he loved sock hops and dancing. And when I started, and he told me those things as I started Carroll 20 years later. I'm honored to get to be a part of celebrating my father and all the distinguished alumni here tonight. Thank you.
You guys have been such a great audience. We have one more inductee to go. Our final inductee and a new honorary member of Trinity House. Being hosted by Kate Bailey and Anna Murray is James Tomachek, also class of 66. Jim served 6 years in the Ohio Air National Guard and received the associate degree in accounting from Miami Jacobs Junior College. He joined his family in business, Northern Tools Incorporated, while attending Carroll High School, and worked at the business for over 50 years, retiring as the CEO. As chairman of Northwestern Tools, Inc., his company went global. He received 2 patents for specialty tools relating to the industry. He purchased 2 additional companies, American Drill Busing and TSB, a specialty product bending company. He is currently president of the American drill bushing, and TSB, and has spent his adult life assisting with Catholic education in parishes. He has served as finance committee member, coach, festival chairperson, and bus driver for Carroll athletic teams. He has provided extraordinary financial support to Carroll, including the electronic signage in front of the building, remodeling of one of the science labs, contributing to the entrance step replacement project, renovation of the chapel, as well as other projects. He has been an active member of St. Helen Parish and St. Mary of the Assumption Church in Springboro, as well as Resurrection Church in Winter Garden, Florida. Jim and his wife have 3 grown children, all Carroll grads: Amy Chico, 1990, Jennifer Geary, 1993, and Brian, 1996. The Tomacheks have 9 grandchildren, and while they live in Dayton, they consider themselves snowbirds, spending several months of the year in Florida. Jim has fond memories of bonfires and football games at Carroll, and remembers playing baseball and basketball for Carroll, although he says he was never very good. I'm sure I disagree. I'm sure he was great. He learned that you don't have to be a star to enjoy what you are doing, and has learned to make the most of opportunities given in life. Please welcome Jim Tomachek.
I'd like to start off by congratulating the marching band for finishing first place in the Class A at the Bands of America regional competition. They also received Best Music Performance and Best General Effects Beating Alter, who came in third place. I like to tease Father Jim because we are pretty close friends, and if I had read his resume, I would think, this guy can't keep a job. He's changing here, he's changing there, he's changing here. But that's the way the church moves you where they need you. I also appreciate the Trinity House inviting me to be a member of their house. And after they invited me, I think their average age went up 1 year. Thank you for ambassadors. It's an honor to be inducted into the Distinguished Hall of Fame, and I thank those who nominated me and elected me. I feel very familiar with most of the people that have been elected. Mr. Sobolewski, before his teaching career, actually worked at my company. And Amy Zimmerman was one of the people who rode on my bus when I drove it for the volleyball teams. Carroll was a different school back then. When we first started here, there were only freshmen and sophomores. The sophomores were the upperclassmen that greeted us when we came. So needless to say, our sports teams didn't have too much success considering we were 15, 16-year-olds playing against 18, 19-year-olds. But eventually, the school became much stronger. We got 4 full classes, and we could compete with any team in the area. I do appreciate how several of the teachers helped me get through classes that I probably wouldn't have passed, one of which was Latin, and which I took 2 years because you had to take 2 years of a lesson, a language. So I remember coming here and putting the tarps down. You actually have different color tarps now. When we were here, it was a gray tarp, and it was one big tarp. So that was fun, and we also used to have bonfires prior to the football games. I don't know how bad we damaged our atmosphere by having those huge bonfires before the football games, but we were also the only Catholic high school at that time that had our own field. The other two played their sports at other venues. So I want to thank Jeannie Hyde McManus because she keeps our class of 65 and 66 informed of everything that goes on. Now, the school does a great job, but Jeannie sets up picnics and pool parties and after game things, which I hope some of you will take that into your account to keep your classes together even 50 plus years later. It is appreciated, Jeannie. In fact, I told her I thought she should have been one of the distinguished alumni, and she said she can't do that because she's on the committee. I said, just don't vote. Just keep yourself off of the vote. But most of you have seen her here at school many, many, many times for various activities. So I will continue, my family and I will continue to support Carroll students and faculty because I believe the education in the classroom as well as out of the classroom. A lot of the friendships that you're making now you'll have for a lifetime. And I think Carroll does a great job of teaching young men and women the best that they can be, both Christians, scholars, and leaders. And I wish all of you good luck on your future endeavors, whether they be entrepreneurship, college, teaching, or any other thing that gets you going in your direction. So, wish you the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much. Again, you were a great audience. Thank you for all of our distinguished alumni. Let's hear one more round of applause from everybody.
You know, you all have been an extremely respectful and polite audience, but let's give them a real Carroll ovation. Let's go, folks. These people are yeah, stand up. Let's go. So thank you all for being here. It's not easy to stand in front of teenagers and do anything, so especially to offer words of wisdom is great. We really do appreciate that. We appreciate all that you are to Carroll. So tonight, before the football game, they will be welcomed in a ceremony before the game. And then, of course, we got the football game. I see the guys are wearing some new uniforms, looking fresh, nice, right? Look good, play good, right? And you guys certainly look good. But Coach Bird, I was asking him, I'm like, well, you know, how we feeling about things? He's like, well, you know, look good, play good, so they're feeling pretty excited. But he said that the theme this week is fight, right? Because we have to have fight in us, regardless of what we're doing. On the football field, soccer field, on the cross-country course tomorrow night, you got to have some fight, right? Coach Prime, he'd say you got to have a little dog in you, right? And I guess Baden's pretty good. They've had our number, but if we bring that little dog in us tonight, we have a little fight. We're going to take it to them on the field, and we're going to bring home a victory for these alumni and all the others that are going to be there tonight. So let's bring it home, boys. It is a great day to be a Patriot.